So it's officially spring and mid-May, which means that the new season premiere was Tuesday. And I just want to talk about it because I know I make other videos and no one really watches them, but I watch these ones. So yeah, let's get this started. So this season clearly is in Chicago, and from what it seems like, this one's actually going to be really good because the last two really sucked. Like, I mean, there were people I did like. I liked Rocky, of course. I loved Janelle and Paula, and there were just certain people I did like. But like this one, it seems like there's a lot of people I do like, and it seems like it's actually going to be good. Like, it's not going to be like boring and petty drama. And the reason I know this is because I noticed something last night, and I noticed most of the time when the episode is like the first episode is the first night, like, and maybe even into the next morning. Like, for example, with season 7, season 9, I don't know, like those ones. Like, it started off with night 1 and either didn't go into the next day or just went into the next day. So that's kind of a good sign already, because this one we still aren't even done with night 1. But we see the opening, and it's like Lauren talking about how her dad's in prison and she wants to see him, and she found out she can't. And I think what I kind of gathered from it is maybe she might go home so she can see him, which is really upsetting because it's only 3 days in, and that sucks. So then she saying something about Jada, and they all end up having this house meeting, which is, by now we all know house meetings never work out. So I'm not even quite sure why they do the house meetings, because it always ends up them talking about the problem and then everyone starts fighting, so there's no point. And this house meeting, Lauren wants to, from what I gathered, it was like Lauren had said something about Alex, and Lauren wanted to confront it. Or did I say Lauren? No, Jada said something about Alex, and Lauren wanted to confront it. And Lauren's like, "You said something about her in the car," and Jada's like, "What'd I say?" And Lauren goes, "That she was a fake ass bitch." The way Lauren talks is my favorite. I personally love it. And then Jada said that's not what she said. So then, pretty much it just breaks out into this huge freak out thing, and Jada's like, "Hit me, hit me, hit me," or something like that. And Lauren is being held back by Red, which is, at this point, there's no chance of her getting around that. So at this point, Britt and Jada and I think Blue are in the hallway, and from what I'm combining the casting special from what I saw with the opening, and Britt was telling Jada, like, we're gonna go in the living room and lay it all on the table and whatever, and Lauren's still trying to get through, and Lauren finally breaks through, and Lauren just runs and leaps mid fucking air onto Jada's face. And from what it looks like, she missed, and everyone's giving her a really hard time because of it. But watching and actually paying attention to what happens, it's like she misses, and then while she's missing it, she lands on the ground and like grabs her hand and pulls Jada's face down by her hair, or pulls her down by her hair and like slams her face into her knee or something. So then Lauren's beating her up, and then it goes and zooms out to show BGC12. I'm thinking, like, where's the ending quote? Because there's always like a quote at the end. And the way they did it, I actually really loved, because instead of it being like something someone said after the fight, you just hear audio of Lauren talking, and it's like, before I leave this house, I really want to work on my anger. I'm just like, well, maybe you should stay a bit longer. So the first person we meet is Alex, and I think Alex is really attractive. I think she's a really, really, really good looking girl. She's really pretty, and from the casting special, I really like her personality. I don't know what it is. I mean, like, it does kind of irritate me, the whole persona of I'm too classy to fight, and I'm too good for this and I'm too good for that. I have an image to uphold. But there's something I really like about her, and I think what I like about her is the fact that she's really upfront about it from the jump. So instead of like, thinking she's going to be one way and then leading in and being like, oh, I'm too this and this, it's like you don't expect much from her. So that when you see things from her you like, it's like, oh, I really like you. So she's got her intro, and she's like talking about how her dad played for the what did he play for? I think he played for the Notre Dame. He played for Notre Dame. And him and his wife had a big split up, and she was in the middle of it. So, like, she's like trying to get away from the TV spot, even though she's going on a reality show, which is really negative exposure because it's filled with trashy women who can't control themselves. So anyway, yeah, she's talking about this, and she was talking about how she's like an info, and that how she found out her one of her roommates was sleeping with her boyfriend, so slept with him in her bed, and it's just like, okay, Alex, like I like her though. I don't know what it is. So then the next one we meet is Lindsay, who is a hot mess. Now, personally, I really like Lindsay because Lindsay's actually pretty cool, like from social media and all that shit. Like, she's really cool. I just feel like she was in a really, really bad place when she did this, but we'll move into that later. So, Lindsay talks about how she's the center of attention because she's so awesome. And for some reason, have you ever seen the movie Contracted on Netflix? Because I feel like there's something in the girl in Contracted that reminds me of Lindsay. Like, I think it's like her facial shape, not positive. But anyway, they're both pretty. So, Lindsay's talking about how, she makes her own problems with her friends and she hates herself for it, and she's there to work on that. And her mom's backing her up and everything. And okay, so her and Alex meet, and Alex is talking about how, oh, Chicago's her place. Like, she lived there and she's trying to get away from wherever. And Lindsay's just glad to be out in New York. And Alex prejudges her, like, she has tattoos and piercings and she seems really white trash. Okay, we'll give you that, because I mean, Lindsay's really pretty, especially now, but she did kind of give off a white trash vibe episode one. So then the next person we meet is Britt. And Britt was one of my pre-favorites because I personally think Britt's really good looking, and I think Britt is really entertaining. So we see Britt, and Britt's like talking about how she hates when people are loud, and she says, her mom didn't really act like a mom, and she kind of raised her mom almost, and she was a daddy's girl and whatnot. So then the next girl we meet is Lauren. And Lauren, I don't know, like, I had really good vibes about Lauren for a while, and I still really do. But I don't know, like, for some reason, whenever I talk about it or thought about it, I always forgot about Lauren. And I feel like there's a reason for that. I feel like she might be the one who, like, is, like, under, like, she, like, goes, she's under everything, and then she just comes up out of nowhere, and she's just, like, at the shit. So Lauren's talking about in her intro how, her hometown's so small. She was dating her cousin, and then she goes, I wish we would ask this before we found out. And I'm just like, oh my god, no. But I like Lauren. I really like Lauren. I think Lauren's really cute. And I think Lauren, just her voice, like, a lot of people have been talking about it being inaudible. I just love Lauren. I love Lauren, and her voice gives me life. And she's talking about how she lives in Mobile, Alabama, in this small town, and she's like VIP and whatever. That's what all of them say. Fallon was VIP too, and now she's working at a hotel. So then her and Britt meet up, and they're talking and whatever, and they get to know each other a bit better. And the next person we meet is Jada. I'm not a fan of Jada. I'm a fan of pretty much everyone else except for Jada. Jada just irritates my life. Like, I don't know if it's just because of the fact she talks constantly about being a felon. Okay, this is one thing that annoys me is Jada talks about how she was a felon and how she was in prison and she was a fugitive and her reason was because she drove without a license. And I just think, like, if you're really going to go on TV and brag about being in jail to make yourself look cool, please let it be for another reason besides driving without a license. Because currently in my hometown, I know I have like three friends who have driven without a license at one point, and they aren't in prison yet. So she's talking about that, and they give her the nickname the Rough Rhymer because she writes raps. But I feel like really, that's the best you could have given her was the Rough Rhymer. Well, from what we saw, she's getting her ass whooped, and she's not a rapper, so she's talking about how she doesn't want to fight and want to get in drama, but then she wants to fight and wants to get in drama. So it's like, then we meet Red, and I love Red. I don't know. I feel like Red's just really hilarious. Red's a big girl, but she's really pretty. I think Red's beautiful, and I don't even remember what her intro was, but I know that she talked about her story about her mom getting the surgery and becoming paralyzed, and then her dad leaving. So I automatically kind of feel bad for her because that's got to be a tough life to grow up in, you know? So she meets Jada, and they automatically have like a chemistry. Like, Red thinks Jada's cute, and Jada says something about Red having T-Rex arms. So then Jada and Red meet up with Lindsay and Alex, and they're all talking and shit. And Lindsay says that she found out the day before that her weave was actually horsehair. And Alex is just appalled. She goes, "What?" And I thought that was really funny, just because Alex is like Miss Classy and whatever. So, then Jada says that Lindsay looks like a salamander, even though I personally think that Jada looks like a knockoff Aubrey O'Day. So there's automatically tension because everyone's judging Lindsay right away. And then Red asked if anyone's on or anyone jumps, and Lindsay said she doesn't jump. Jada doesn't jump, and then Alex says she doesn't fight because she's got goons. Okay, so Alex has got goons, and she talks about how she's too classy to fight and she won't do it because she thinks fighting's trashy. And then Red's like, "Who you gonna call? The Ghostbusters or something? I'll let you use the phone, but I'm still whoop your ass." And so then Britt and Lauren meet up with them, and Lauren says she's the cutest one, which is, I think Alex is the best looking, but I think Lauren's definitely next. Like, I feel like Lauren is really, really, really cute. So then they're all talking and whatnot, and they're wondering, like, where's the last girl? And the last girl's Jonica, which is, I feel like, okay, this is my thing, is I feel like Jonica isn't in a lot of drama. She's not in a lot of beef. So I feel like if they brought anyone at the end, it should have been, like, Red. Or anyone, like, at the last, it should have been Red, Britt, Lauren, Lindsay, one of them, somebody who we see caught, like, in a lot of drama. But, I like Jonica. I do, because I feel like Jonica's really pretty, and I feel like Jonica, her personality, like, she doesn't get in a lot of drama, she doesn't get in a lot of fights. But I like that. That's good. Like, she's not trashy. She's there to work on commitment. She's there to work on commitment, and I think that's really cool that we actually have someone there to work on something. That's what I like about this one, is instead of just being trashy and partying for no reason, they're actually there to work on shit. Like, they're there to fix stuff about themselves that they don't like. And that's really genuine. That's really cool. Is it going to work? I don't know. But, so Jonica's there to work on commitment. and she comes and everyone's like, oh, Jonica's cool, but Lauren doesn't know about her because Jonica's a tomboy, but Lauren's a girly girl. So what? So they all decide they're gonna get in the limo and ride home. And Alex burps. Okay, Alex burps, and this whole thing really confused me. But Alex burps, and Alex goes, "I'm repulsive," and she was like joking around and shit. And then Lindsay, literally out of nowhere, she goes, no. I think Jada said, I thought you were classier. You had an image to uphold. And Alex goes, oh no, burping doesn't count. And then Lindsay goes, I think it's just whatever. I think it's just whatever she thinks. And I stopped and I was like, and then it seemed like that's where the tension started. I'm like, was that really like a rude comment? I didn't think that was really an obnoxious comment. Like, I understand that maybe Lindsay might have, like, I understand Lindsay might have been out. I feel like when she said it, like, it was something I would have said it. And, like, I feel like if I said it and I got looked a certain way for it, I'd be like, it wasn't really supposed to be offensive. I was just saying, like, whatever you think is fine is fine. It's no big deal, you know, do whatever, you know, you got your own life. But then, like, it seems like everything's tense, and then Lindsay goes, I'm just not even going to say anything. And I'm just like, okay. So then it ends up being Alex and Lindsay start talking shit to each other, and then Britt starts flipping out. And Lindsay said, no one cares about your mouth. And Britt goes, well, I'm going to keep running my mouth, and until somebody makes me shut my mouth, I'm not going to shut my mouth. And the vibe I get from Britt is nobody's going to be able to shut her mouth. Not that she talks too much, but I just feel like if somebody even tried to put their hands on Britt, Britt would handle them. So, you know, they're arguing, and then Lindsay starts screaming, which actually kind of cracked me up. She's just sitting there going, ah! Ah! And I thought it was really funny because it's just like, that would really be, are those my jeans? Thank you. But I could just picture, like, I feel like that's what Lindsay was trying to aim at, kind of, was like annoying Britt by like screaming repeatedly just to get her to shut up. And yeah, so they get to the house, and by now everyone's over Lindsay. So they get in the house, and Red runs to the fridge. She's like, oh my god, we got food! And I was just dying. I'm like, oh my god, Red. Red cracks me up. I feel like Red is kind of the next Tanisha. And I hate saying that because of the fact that Red and Tanisha are beefing on Twitter. And that's just like a big kick in both of their faces. But, you know, fuck it. I'm going to say it. Red is the next Tanisha because not only is Red a bigger girl, but Red also has the humor value. Red had the entertainment value. The only difference is I feel like Red just takes less bullshit than Tanisha does. So, moving on. Everyone's talking about there's Lauren, Britt, and Alex are in the confessional talking about who they like, and they're all like, Britt, that's my bitch. And Lauren goes, yeah, that's my bitch. And Lauren goes, that's my bitch. And Alex goes, clearly she's mine because she had my back. And and then like Britt runs into the confessional and all of them are so excited, like, Britt! I just thought that was really cute just because it's like all of their favorites right off the bat is Britt. And like, I love Britt personally. And then Red wants to pull Britt aside and talk to Britt because she feels like Britt was kind of in the wrong for jumping in the argument between Alex and Lindsay. And off the bat, Red doesn't like Alex, or Slim. I call her Alex. But, so Red wants to pull her aside. She goes, don't let anything these girls say get to you. You know, don't let anything these girls say get to you because at the end of the day, they don't matter. And they're talking and they're starting a bond. They're starting to make a bond. And actually, it sounds corny, but I really actually genuinely like when these girls make a bond because I feel like, I mean, you know, fighting is entertaining and everything, sure. But what really, really makes it nice is when they actually make a friendship and they have a genuine bond with each other. So then they go pick their rooms, and Alex and Jonica pick a room, and Alex does not want a room with Lindsay. Nobody wants to. So they're like, who else do we want? And Alex is like, well, let's get Lauren. I like Lauren. So they run and grab Lauren and bring her in the room. And then Red is like, Britt's like, are we rooming together? To Red, and Red's like, yeah, bitch, we're rooming together. So they're already really good friends, which is, I really like it because they're really good friends now too. And I feel like that's really cool because they both have one of the deepest stories in the season. And then Jada ends up getting a room with Lindsay. Then they find all these pictures on the wall of like their family and their friends and stuff. Okay, everyone thought this was really cute and sentimental. I thought this was really creepy. Oxygen, how are you getting a hold of their family photos? Okay. Um, so then it becomes drama because pretty much the second that Lindsay and Jada move into the room together and they bunk together, Lindsay loses her makeup. And I feel like I can't really blame Lindsay for flipping out, suspecting that somebody stole her makeup. Because I feel like there's a point in everyone's lives where they lose something or misplace it, and the first thing that comes into their head is somebody stole it. And because of the fact that you are moving in the house with 6 other people who you do not know, that paranoia is going to be heightened. So Lindsay goes and she's like, she says to Jada, have you seen my makeup? And Jada, the second Lindsay even starts talking, before she can even finish, Jada's like, oh, hell no. And Lindsay just like gets this weird look about her and moves around her and goes to Britt and Alex. Anyway, have you seen my makeup? And Britt's like, I don't even know what it looks like. So now there's tension between Jada and Lindsay. And they're having drama, and then Jada goes to talk to Lindsay, and she's like, I didn't take her makeup. I don't know what happened to it. And Lindsay's like, I didn't say you took it. I didn't say you took it, which is pretty much, Lindsay, honey, that's what you were implying. I love you and all, but that's what you were implying. So then, Lindsay's pissed off because she feels like Jada's accusing her of saying something she didn't do, which is, at this point, I feel like Lindsay might be either really, really drunk or really mentally unstable, because I feel like a lot of the shit that's happening in the house, like, she is not understanding what these girls are thinking. Like, for example, like, Jada was pissed because she felt like Lindsay was blaming her, and Lindsay didn't feel like she blamed her. If Jada feels like you blamed her, just be like, I wasn't trying to blame you. I was just wondering where it was. And that's what Lindsay did. But Jada was not buying it. So then Jada was still complaining about it. And Lindsay stomps after her. And I thought this was so funny the way she did. She's like, you want attention? You want attention? Really? And Red's like trying to like keep them apart. And so then Jada mushes Lindsay and she's like, get out of my face, get out of my face. And of course she has to throw in something about Lindsay reminding her of these girls from jail. So Lindsay gets mushed in the face, and now Lindsay's pissed off, and she goes, get kicked out of the house. Get kicked out of the house, which is, you should probably watch the show and realize that the fighting rules are circumstantial. So now Jada's talking about how she mushed her, and Red picks her up and carries her and lays her on the bed and is on top of her, like, you shouldn't have roomed with that bitch and whatever. And this kind of reminds me of the casting special where the whole issue is Red is calling out Jada because Red feels like Jada's bisexual and that Jada was interested, which is, from all the sneak peeks we see in the first episode, Jada is clearly interested. Let's be honest. I mean, Red's a pretty girl. I don't blame her. So then Lindsay goes and sits down with Alex, and Lindsay's talking about how she's not going to try to turn Alex against Jada because that's not what she does. She doesn't have to manipulate people to make friends. And then again, she's not making friends. So then Jada walks by and she's like, "You're never going to turn anyone against me." And, you know, from what we see, clearly she's not, because Jada's going to do that all on her own. And Lindsay's talking to Alex like her and Alex are like besties, but she does not remember that her and Alex literally just had an altercation in the limo. So then Lindsay goes in the kitchen and she's pissed off, and Alex follows her because Alex feels like Lindsay has severe mental problems, and I think everyone else does at this point too. So Alex is talking to her like, you know, if you're gonna stay in this house, you have to calm down. And Lindsay's like, I'm fine. You sure? So Lindsay goes, if she don't like it, she can leave. And Alex is like, you need to calm down. Calm down. And this was my favorite part of the whole episode. And Lindsay goes, this girl has been making lies up about me since day one. And Alex goes, it is day one. I'm sorry, I just thought that was the funniest thing, because it's like, since day one. And then Alex goes, it is day one. And just the look on Lindsay's face, like, she literally looks so bewildered. She's just like, so at this point, there's no hope with Alex and Lindsay. So then Jonica decides she wants to talk to Lindsay. This is one of the reasons I really like Jonica, is because while all the other girls are like, oh, I don't like her because she's crazy and she's unstable and she beefed with so-and-so, Jonica's like, well, let me actually talk to this girl and find out what's up with this girl. And automatically, Jonica probably regrets this because she realized she just started a conversation with a psychopath, because she's talking to Lindsay and Lindsay goes, I'm really humble. And Jonica's like, you're humble? Like, no, you're not. And Lindsay goes, yeah, I'm humble, like Michael Jackson. Okay. So then she's talking about, Michael's my idol. I could cry right now. And then she just starts, tears are streaming down her face, and she's like, I love Michael Jackson, and he's a part of me. And then she gets to the really creepy part, and she goes, I knew Michael was gonna die because he told me in a dream. And at this point, I'm just like, I'm putting myself in Jonica's, like, sick ass shoes, because her shoe game is just out of this world. I love Jonica's great. And I'm just putting myself in her shoes, and I'm just, wow. And then she's like, well, let's talk about Bubbles. And Lindsay's like, oh, yeah, his monkey. And she starts giggling, and then she's crying again. And then it shows Jonica's confessional, and she goes, that's it. The bitch crazy. And it's just like, I mean, I really like Lindsay, but Lindsay's honestly terrifying me this episode. You know, I mean, I know she doesn't stay very long, which is kind of unfortunate, because she's kind of giving a vibe that's a mix between, like, Judy from season 7, Janae from season 10, and just every hot mess ever. So now everyone's gonna get ready to go out, and everyone's getting ready, and everyone, like I said before, is in clear agreement that Lindsay is a hot mess and she's just crazy. So they go out and they're, you know, going to the club, and they get there. And by the way, I don't think anyone realized this because Oxygen is really petty, but Rima was actually at the club. Rima from season 9 Mexico was at the club because she lives in Chicago. And if you don't believe me, there's a part where it's focusing on Lindsay, and Rima, I think she's wearing white pants. But Rima was in the club. So everyone's having fun. And I'd like to also point out, when they're riding to the club, Lauren spit this random rap, like she spit this random freestyle about her and the girls going to the club. And it shit on everything Jada did in her casting tape, being a rough rhymer. So anyway, they're at the club, and Lindsay's just a hot mess all over the place, and she's just a mess, and everyone else is having fun. And Lindsay brings a girl into their section, and Red gets really offended because this girl isn't pretty. Red's like, this girl isn't pretty, why is she in our section? So they're going home, and Red brings it up to her. Red's like, you know, that girl you brought into our section, that was ugly, and that was so rude and disrespectful to us. And I thought that was really funny. It's like, Red's petty. Red's petty, but I love it. And what I love is there's a part where Red's yelling at Lindsay, and they just show Lauren's face, and she just looks like the mix between disgusted and confused. She's just like, and so then Lindsay goes, I'm too good for this shit. And that's when Lauren jumps in, and Lauren's like, who are you, bitch? Who are you? No, she goes, who are you, bitch? I love the way she says bitch. I just love it. So then they're going at it. And then Lauren's like in the confessional, like, Lindsay, I can't take her. The chill bitches are the one I can deal with. And Lauren goes, I'm a bad bitch. You're not. And like at first, like I thought that she was like mocking Lindsay, but I realized that was actually her like talking seriously. And I was like, oh my god, I love Lauren. I'm sorry, I do. So then they're going at it still, and what really sets Lindsay off, and this was I think probably the part earlier, the first day part was my favorite part. This is my favorite line in the episode. It's like it just cracked me up. Like Lauren's just sitting there posting the limo, and then she goes, girl, my shoes cost more than everything you ever own in your life. And Lindsay just goes nuts. I'm sorry, it just killed me just because it was such a line like Lauren would say. Like, from watching the episode and seeing her character, like, I can just completely, totally picture Lauren saying something like that. So then it ends up, while she's throwing drinks, one of them hits Jada, and then Lindsay and Jada start going at it. And then Lindsay goes, get me out of this car. And then she just slams her fist into Jada's face, and they start going at it. And then, of course, Jada has her confessional about how Lindsay getting up in my face reminds me of being in jail. And I'm just like, I think that the criminal youths, or whatever you want to call them, the troublemaking kids, need to just sit down and watch this season, because by the time Jada's done on the show, she will have said the words felon, jail, police, fugitive, and arrested so many times that it will be like that therapy where it's like you are exposed to something so much, or in a negative way, it makes you vomit. So I think by the time this season's over with, they will be doing community service for churches and shit. So pretty much we get a taste that Lindsay's going to end up going home, which is, it's unfortunate because I feel like Lindsay's time there doesn't deserve to end like that. And I feel like she's not the next Tess. Lindsay, okay. I don't even know. I like Lindsay though. Now to wrap it all out, I'm gonna just give my opinions on everyone. Alex. I genuinely really like Alex. I do. I feel like Alex has her moments where she can be really irritating and she says things that are really dumb. But honestly, I really like her and I respect her because I feel like, you know, the thing is with Tasha, there was Tasha from season 7, and Tasha, like, in the beginning, like, she almost had this attitude, like, she was this boss, and she this and this and this. And what pissed me off about her was, you know, she has all this attitude, causes all this mess, gets in all this drama, and then she wants to turn it around and say, I'm classy. But Alex is just coming right off the bat, like, I'm too classy to fight. I don't fight. I do this and this and this. And there's something I respect about it. Lindsay. I feel like people give Lindsay such a hard time because in the Super trailer, she had the same effect as Teresa almost, and how everyone said Teresa looked like Leah, so Teresa's Leah 2.0. Everyone looked at Lindsay and said Lindsay is Morgan 2.0 because Lindsay looked kind of like Morgan. And unfortunately enough, for every other girl who will ever apply, there is no Morgan 2.0. Morgan is her own 2.0. Morgan's just a brand. So that's definitely why I feel like people were so disappointed with the way Lindsay came off, is because Lindsay was not Morgan 2.0. Brit. I love Brit. I genuinely really like Brit, and I feel like she's going to be entertainment, and she's going to be that rough rider, the one who just fucks everyone up. I really like Brit, I like her personality too, and I really like that she has a good story that people can identify with. And I feel like as a person, I really like her. Jonica. I like Jonica a lot. I just I feel like she's really chill and she's really down to earth, and she's gonna be the one who doesn't get into fights, which is, I feel like she's gonna be like, I mean, the fact that she even says on Twitter all the time, I'm boring, I did nothing the whole season. I respect the fact she can admit she didn't do anything, because it's like, I really like the fact she's not just ratchet and, crazy. Um, um, Red. I adore Red. I really do. I feel like Red has a personality of somebody you just want to be friends with. And I feel like Red is really cute and Red is really funny and she's really entertaining. And there's not a lot of girls in the past. Like we've had Tanisha, who's a big girl, who's crazy. We've had, everyone says Erica, but Erica wasn't really big. Um, I don't know. We've had girls like that, but I think like Red is definitely going to be, the next real Tanisha. Um, Jada. I don't like Jada. I do not like. I do not like Jada. I don't know if it's just the fact that she talks about prison. No, it's not the fact she talks about prison too much. It's the fact that I feel like her talking about being a felon and people not fucking with her in prison is low key her kind of trying to keep people who could beat her in a fight away from her. Because if you talk about, oh yeah, I was a felon, I was in prison, I got into tons of fights, there's a slimmer chance people are gonna mess with you. I feel like she causes too much drama and I don't like her. Lauren. I adore Lauren. Lauren is actually currently probably my favorite because I feel like Lauren's really entertaining. Like, not only, she's not, she is a little ratchet, but I like her. Okay, so I'm ending this now because my laptop's gonna die, but